Life is a journey of growth and discovery, guided by faith and the pursuit of the kingdom of God. As we learn about other cultures, we deepen our understanding and enhance our ability to share the gospel effectively. This year, a dedicated team from Crossroads Fellowship traveled to Santa Maria Chatani in Oaxaca, Mexico. Their primary goal was to witness spiritual transformation by building relationships and spreading the message of the gospel. In Oaxaca, Mexico, our team got to really understand what it means to spread the gospel, share testimonies, and impact people in a culture that was so unlike our own, or at least really unfamiliar to people from Raleigh and Wake Forest and North Carolina. So our team, coming from Crossroads, were prepared well to share the gospel in many different ways, but was probably the most amazing thing that we got to experience is that even though there's a cultural barrier, there's a language barrier, what never changes and what never surprises me on trips is that we get to experience seeing teams translate the gospel by just sharing love, by being open, by communicating the best we can. And it always works. God always shows up, and he surely did this time. And we saw some lives transformed. We saw joy expressed in ways that we don't normally see. Every day while in Oaxaca, our team made a habit of visiting local families who were gathered together to hear our stories, to hear our testimonies, in the hopes of what we have experienced in our lives, making an impact on theirs, and hopefully helping them see the love of Christ made real, maybe for the first time. And it was really amazing as our students shared testimonies, many of whom had not been in that position to do that before, especially in the way that we did it with families, many of whom who didn't even speak Spanish, they spoke Zapotec. But as our stories were being translated, we got to see our students understand what it means to be obedient to God, to share their testimonies, and in essence also share the gospel. And they were impacted in a huge way because they realized, man, my story means something outside of my everyday context. And they got to see in amazing ways how God used their past, their failures, and even their successes to impact people who they didn't even know 5 minutes before. I think one of our biggest goals every time we come back from a mission trip is that our experiences and how we've learned to share the gospel and share our testimonies and be evangelists doesn't just stop in the country that we visited. The hope is that our team is more encouraged to come back in the local context, in their school, their workplace, in their family, their community, to share the gospel in a brand new way, to share the gospel with courage, to share the gospel knowing that, man, if I walk by the Spirit and not by the flesh, and as I become more and more obedient to the Lord every day, I can make an impact where I'm at. And it doesn't have to be thousands of miles away. It might be the neighbor next door. It might be the student in the same classroom in college. It might be a coworker. But it never fails that people get so excited about the impact they've made somewhere else, and they start to put two and two together, and they realize, if I can do it there, I can do it here, and there should be nothing stopping me. It's so important for us as a church here at Crossroads Fellowship to understand that we're all called to the mission field. And maybe God's calling you.
layu. Kero ni bidito bilucha shingi. Tira tu kuni krela vela kadi kiniti. Sino ke gapa ke nanabani ke saluse. Nagyo nandagi chibika kwang chi no sopalo.